Welcome back to Hoochos. Today on Hoochos, we're going to do some planting. So as you can see, I've got some of the pots set up with the Hooch adapter, and we're going to plant into the rain gutter grow system, as well as I've got a heap of plants that aren't quite ready. Well, I mean, I don't have enough pots for the rain gutter grow system, but they're kind of ready to come out of the seedling phase of my propagator. So I'm just going to pop them in the NFT for the time being until the strawberries are ready to go in the NFT. Anyway, I'll show you that as we go. But first, I'm going to show you how I plant into these pots. So let me just grab my camera stand. As you can see, I've already got a couple ready to go, and all the cameras are set up, time-lapsing in front of them. All right, so here I have a mix of 60-40 cocoa perlite, and we're just going to add that into our Hooch adapter buckets. I'll just make sure the net cups at the bottom are full. I'll do a bottom layer for both of them, like that. Now these strawberries are Adena. I've also got Redlands Joy in those large buckets you saw last episode. So I'm going to actually start labeling these because I want to know which strawberries do best, and I'm going to let you know so you can make the right decision when it comes to strawberries as well. Let's plant these out and see how they grow. So I'm just going to get those roots down as close to where that wicking will be, and try not to bury the crown. So I haven't done a very good job of not burying the crown on all the rest. Now I'm definitely not an expert at planting strawberries, so if I'm doing anything wrong and you know better, let me know in the comments below. Now the reason I'm planting 2 crowns per bowl is because on a website by a university that I can't recall right now, I'll link it in the description below, they recommended at least 2 liters of media per strawberry crown. So this is a 4-liter bowl, which will be perfect for 2 crowns. All right, so they're good to go. Let's go and put them in the system. All right, so before we stick them in the system, I just want to take you along and show you the progress of all the plants in this system, because they're going really well. So as you can see, the strawberries are pretty much all coming out of that, well, I only planted these 2 the other day, out of that crown stage, and they're giving me some really lovely leaves. Look at those. And a few of them are coming out, which is really nice. And one thing that's super exciting, look at that tomato. Oh, the first one of all of them to start ripening. That is so exciting. I can't explain how exciting that is. And this is the pickling cucumber plant. There is definitely something going on here, which I'll need to address, and I'm pretty sure it's to do with the subpar cocoa that I use. But have a look at the amount of fruit that this plant is bearing. Nonetheless, pretty bloody healthy. I love these beads that the plants get when they're transpiring at night and it's just too humid, so it just waters up on their leaves. Really cool. All right, so I'm actually gonna do a quick shuffle around of this system. I want these jalapenos up on the next level, so that I have all the strawberries on the lowest level, just so they're not shaded out by the caps. So we're just gonna pick up our caps, swap them out, and pop them into the top system. Again, being careful not to shave their roots off. Now this is probably actually a good time to show you. I was having weakness problems with the 0.4mm print nozzle. As you can see, the adhesion on the layers wasn't as good as I'd like it to be, and the prints are a bit flimsier than I'd like them to be as well. This is with 10% infill. So what I did was I changed the nozzle to a 0.8mm nozzle, and I'll show you the result of that. This is the result you get from a 0.8mm nozzle. Now, it's really hard to show you on camera, but the strength of this print is hugely increased. Like, I can't press that in. It's way stronger. And I'm manhandling this, which I probably wouldn't do with this. It might be easier to see on the transparent one. So if I press these in with my hands, like, it's a lot stronger than if I press, you can even hear it sort of cracking. And if I press this in, you can hear that crackling. That's just the layers unadhering within that infill. I'm doing this the wrong way because my microphone's here. If I press this in, you can hear the layers separating. Whereas if I press this in, there's no layer separation. So I do recommend, and you get a really clean print with this. I mean, it might just be because of the color, but you get a really clean print with this 0.8mm nozzle. Root pawn. Now you can see how white these roots are, and there is no oxygenation within these pipe systems. However, I have a theory that because if you have the water level just slightly lower than the top of the pipe, there is a lot of surface area within these pipes for oxygen exchange between the air and the nutrient solution. And my theory is that it's oxygenating the water enough so that the roots aren't deprived of oxygen even if they enter that nutrient solution. Now that's just a theory, a Hooch theory, but it kind of makes sense. There's a heap of surface area compared to the shallow amount of nutrient solution, and a lot of these roots, they're just not showing any signs of oxygen deprivation at all. So not only is the plant getting oxygen exchange from the media, which is heavy in perlite, which holds oxygen and air really well, but it's also getting oxygen, I believe, from the nutrient solution, which is high in oxygen purely for the surface area that it has within the pipes. All right, so now we can just pop in our Hooch adapters like so, and they'll just start wicking up from below. So let's get to planting some other plants that I've been propagating into the NFT, just to get them to size until I have enough pots to plant them in within this system. All right, so this is my propagation area, and as you can see, these ones are ready. They're drinking up the nutrient solution too fast for me to keep on top of them day to day. So I'm going to remove them from this area, and I'm going to raise them in the NFT until such time as I have enough Hooch buckets to raise them all. So NFT as a propagation area, essentially. All right, you're gonna have to forgive this side for the time being. It's kind of just a place I put plants that I don't know what to do with. Heaps of basil over here, and I've just been using that for pastas and whatnot. It's not really the greatest situation for the basil to be in. There's no real support. They're just falling over in the system. They're actually getting some fungal infections, and I'm going to give these to the chickens so they don't spread. So we'll get them out of the system. Just dragged it across the top of all my seedlings too. Good one, Hooch. I'm not sure that you can hear that, but that is Steve. And Steve is a rooster, and he's been crowing just a lot. Why, mate? It's not even dawn. It's quite annoying. You gonna crow for us again, Steve? His real name's actually Crazy Steve, because he's crazy. There you go, guys. So these guys are white Sussex chickens. Don't know much about chickens, but I know that's what they're called. And I actually promised someone earlier that I'd take them into the greenhouse, so give me 1 second. Ragnar! Ragnar! This is Ragnar. Ragnar's coming to the greenhouse with us. Come on. So all our cats are inside cats because cats have a nasty habit of killing wildlife. So he gets to come into the greenhouse every now and then because he loves it out here. He can see all the birds, but can't get to them. All right, so these seedlings were raised under a Spider Farmer SF600, which is a 60 watt long bar grow light. It just gives a really nice par for seedlings and clones. So I use that. And they were raised in the How to Make Your Own Rockwool grow cubes that I cut up from the larger Cultilean blocks, which is just a Rockwool alternative. And as you can see, they work fantastically. So I'm just going to pop these into this system, and this will just act as a nursery of sorts. Like this one is one of the ones that I didn't put in the Hooch buckets, purely because it has 2 separate jalapenos in the one cube, and I just wanted to see how long it would go in that NFT. And as you can see, it's fallen over, but the roots have grown out the side that it's fallen over onto. So the NFT works fantastically, even for these larger plants. You really just need a way of propping them up in the system. So it was like that. As you can see, it's fallen over, and the roots have made their way along that NFT, or the nutrient film, and the plants recovered by turning up towards the light. So I'll just pop that back in and leave him be. I'll probably stick that one in the rain gutter grow system just to see. You right there, Ragnar? Just to see how it goes. This is a really good way of getting white and orange fur all over my shirt. All right, let's plant some of these plants, hey? So we'll pop that one in there. Now, this is actually just a mix of, I think there's some capsicum, jalapenos. Where do you want to go? Ugh. These ones are eggplant. This is either a pickling cucumber, or I did have some obscure cucamelon type plants within the seed mix that I did. So we'll see what they turn out to be. More eggplant. I actually went on holidays to Tasmania and left 2 propagator trays with the lids on, and because I was away for so long, a lot of the seeds and seedlings went moldy, and I was able to save this many from that batch. So this is one of the last surviving watermelons that was in that batch. So I'll pop that in. That's a double, so I'm just going to pull out the smaller one and plant the rest. I really like the flat bottom NFT for the reason that you can just pop in a square bottomed Rockwool cube. So take out, these should have been thinned out a lot earlier, and I did try, but some of them have popped up in the meantime. All right, all done. Now, I did actually plan on taking all of these lettuce out and replanting those seedlings you saw in the propagation area, the lettuce ones. However, it's Saturday, and the charity that I wanted to give it to isn't operational today, so I'll have to do that sometime next week. Ragnar, no, don't drink out of the pet bowl. Is hydroponic nutrient good for cats? So I'm gonna have to leave these lettuce in a little bit longer. Shouldn't do any harm to them, they'll just be a bit bigger, and then I can donate them. All right, so it's been a little while, and we'll pull back the cocoa. So you can see the wicking's already happening. It's already come up about halfway up the container. That will make its way all the way throughout the container. In fact, it's made its way, you can see, already over to the edge, and that'll wick up as well. So The pots are doing their jobs, which is good. And hopefully we'll get ourselves a bumper crop. So I'm now going to label them because I've got multiple different strawberry varieties in here, and we'll see which variety goes best. And I'll let you know in the future. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Hoochos. Hit like if you like what you saw, and leave a comment below about the things that you'd like to see planted in the Hooch buckets and in the NFT. I'm really interested to see what we can get out of those buckets, out of the adapter system, and also out of the NFT. Happy hydroponicking, and I'll see you next time. Oh, that's cool. I'm very keen to see that time lapse.